have a story to tell you and a question. Are you wise, and what kind of heart do you have? There once was this man, and he had this brand new BMW that he parked across the side of the road. And he started to get out to go walk to work, and he saw this little boy looking at him. And he said, do you like my car? And little boy eagerly looked and said, yes, I do. Where'd you get it? And the man said, well, my brother gave it to me. And the little boy said, your brother gave it to you? The man, thinking he knew what the little boy was going to say, thought that the little boy was about to say, I wish I had a brother who could give me a car. But instead, something very different came out of that little boy's mouth. He said, I wish I could be a brother like that. He wanted to give his brother something nice instead of hoping that his brother would give him something nice. He wanted to give instead of receive. At that young age, that boy realized something that most adults don't even realize growing up or being adults, is that it's not the earthly things, the material things that matter. It's better to give than to receive. And that's wisdom. That's true wisdom that you don't have to be old to have. Someone else in the Bible had lots of wisdom, and his name's King Solomon. You've probably heard of him. And King Solomon is known to be the wisest king, also to have a reign that was both very wealthy and prosperous. Now, what was it about Solomon's reign that made him prosperous? It's just like that little boy. And in fact, it's in a quote here by Ellen G. White that I want to read to you. She writes here, above every earthly good, the king, which was Solomon, desired for wisdom and understanding for the accomplishment of the work God had given him to do. The next sentence is key here. It says, he longed for her quickness of mind, for a largeness of heart, and a tenderness in spirit. Solomon knew that more than earthly goods, what was inside mattered the most. And he wanted to accomplish God's work first. And he wanted his heart to be tender for the Spirit of God to work for him and his country. Remember that little boy who talked to the man with the BMW? Well, the man was so impressed by that answer of he wished he could be the type of brother to give his little brother a car like that. In fact, he was so happy that he took that little boy into his BMW and said, let's go take your brother for a ride. They drove around the neighborhood, found his little brother, and they went for a ride. Now there's another question that Solomon and God had a conversation together. In fact, you can find it in 1 Kings chapter 3 verse 7. Solomon's now king, and God comes to him in a dream. And as he's talking to Solomon, and Solomon says, Lord, thank you for letting me rule after my father, and you've blessed our household. And God eventually comes and asks Solomon, this is what he says. He says, what would you like, right? What would you like? And this is what Solomon responds. He says, give therefore thy servant an understanding and a heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. And the Lord was pleased that Solomon had asked this thing. And if you read the rest of the story, you know that God gave him not only wisdom, but he gave him wealth and much more. How you answer questions and what's in the inside of your heart truly shows what's in your mind, the clarity and the tenderness God has set inside of you. Who are you on the inside? Do you have wisdom, like true wisdom, like that little boy and Solomon? I hope you do, and I hope I do too. Solomon recognized his great reliance and need upon God, and that's why he asked God in that following part, God, please give me an understanding of heart, tenderness, and clarity of mind. Just like Solomon, and how that little boy gave such a wise answer for his young age, you can give the same answer today. No matter who you are, you could be a student, a kid, a teacher, a senior, whoever you are and what position of job you hold. You, just like Solomon and that little boy, we need wisdom and a tenderness of heart and clarity of mind. This quote I want to read to you, especially is for leaders. And it shows how much we need to rely upon God. It says, those today who occupy positions of trust should seek to learn the lessons taught by Solomon's prayer. The higher the position a man occupies, the greater the responsibility that he has to bear. The wider will be the influence that he exerts, and the greater his need of dependence on God. Ever should he remember that with the call to work comes the call to work circumspectly before his fellow men. He is to stand before God with the attitude of a learner. That's humility. Attitude of a learner. Position does not give him holiness of character. It is by honoring God. Here is the key. It is by honoring God and obeying his commandments that a man is made truly great. So if you want to be great, you want to be wise, remember, honor God by obeying his commandments. And that is how to be truly great. James 1:5 says, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God. So, whoever you are, remember that just like Solomon and that little boy, young in age, but great in character and heart, you can ask God for wisdom, true greatness.